Guten Tag.
Goedenavond.
Bona tifat.
Hola.
Ahoy.
Ciao, buonasera.
안녕.
Marhaba.
Chiadich.
你好。
Brian Zeng, equity-minded, steadfast. Brian's immersive experiences were in England, Italy, and France, and he had plans to go to Tanzania in 2020. His global service was as a Vietnamese exchange student host at the Lazarus House and as a weekly volunteer at the Chinese School of Andover. His research topic question is how do advancements in applications and services for today's educational technology affect the learning of students who are in financial need?
Shani Sharma. She is devoted, witty. She has traveled to India, Canada, and Bermuda. For her service, she volunteered with the Andover Youth Services, Global Engineering in Genes and Space for middle school students. And a research topic is Brexit as indicative of isolationism versus internationalism. And next year, she will be attending Middlebury College, majoring in international politics or economics with a minor in Spanish.
Mara Belansky, confident, equity-minded. Mara traveled to Costa Rica and Israel. For her service component, she volunteered with Project Home Again and BBYO Community Action Day. Her capstone project focused on the gender gap in sports media. Next year, Mara will be enrolled in Indiana University's Media School as an Ernie Pyle Scholar, majoring in journalism and public relations.
Olivia Ventre, equity-minded, driven. Olivia traveled to Germany, the Czech Republic, Poland, and Hungary for her immersive experiences. Her service was at the Celiac Support Group Mentoring Program at Boston Children's Hospital. Her research topic question is how can we diversify our English curriculum to reflect the student body and what the impact would be. Next year, Olivia plans to study English and economics at Barnard College.
Michael Peng, insightful, optimistic. Michael traveled to Costa Rica as part of his travel and service experiences. He has also volunteered at Kindness Matters Incorporated. Michael's capstone project examined how factors influencing the transmission of COVID-19 variants over time inform accurate predictions of future infection trends. Next year, Michael will be attending the University of Michigan to study engineering.
Kelsey Dennehy is theatrical. She is motivated. She planned to travel to Spain but was canceled due to the pandemic. She has assisted at the Lazarus House. Her research topic is the impact of the media upon COVID-19 and the 1918 influenza. And next year she will be attending Indiana University with a media major in criminal justice and theater minors.
Navia Pandya, reflective, caring. Navia had plans to visit India, but due to the pandemic was unable to. Instead, she traveled virtually to several international museums. She was a virtual volunteer at the Swami Narayan Temple and sent letters of appreciation to Andover healthcare workers. Her capstone project identified what psychological and external factors drive the formation and popularity of conspiracy theories and evaluated how the creation and spread of conspiracy theories affect our society, specifically around the coronavirus. Navia will be studying nursing at Northeastern University in the fall.
Emma Ozzie, creative, judicious. Emma traveled to Lebanon. For her service component, she participated in Cor Unum Meal Center, PALS tutoring, cleaning Beirut after a deadly explosion, hosting and guiding the Korean exchange students here at AHS, the Maronite Youth Organization, and UNICEF. Her capstone project focused on how Orientalism shaped modern-day pop culture and cultural misrepresentation. Next year, Emma will be enrolled in UMass Amherst, majoring in biology in the Commonwealth Honors College.
Luke Vaccaro, easygoing, humble. Luke planned to travel to Hawaii on a service trip in 2020. His local service was when he hosted a Vietnamese exchange student. Luke's research topic question is, how would the implementation of financial literacy courses in education systems around the United States alter our overall financial literacy level?
Caitlin Chung, motivated, passionate. Caitlin traveled to Europe, Asia, and Morocco. Her service included participation in the Korean and Vietnamese student exchange program at AHS and the Portal Leadership Team. Caitlin's research for her capstone project focused on fighting food waste and how communities can feed one another while saving the planet. She will be attending the University of Rochester, majoring in biology on the pre-med track.
Emily Hamby, empathic, determined. Emily traveled to Costa Rica, where she worked on community development as part of her service component. She also planned to travel to Laos, but that was canceled due to the pandemic. Emily's capstone project focused on how core academic high school teachers can be better supported in understanding and implementing accommodations for students with dyslexia-based learning disabilities. Next year, Emily plans to enroll in the honors program at Lesley University to study special education.
Kaylin Cronin is thoughtful and kind. She has traveled to Germany, the Czech Republic, Poland, and Hungary. For her service, she worked at the Squam Lake Natural Science Center as a volunteer, as well as St. Augustine's Parish assisting the elderly. Her research topic is the better use of PET bottles, and next year she will be attending Northeastern University majoring in biochemistry.
Olivia Broderick, spirited, conscientious. Olivia planned to travel to Hawaii in 2020. For Olivia's service component, she participated in the AHS South Korean Student Exchange Program in 2020. Her capstone research focused on the effects of the deteriorating climate on our local mountains. Olivia will be attending the University of Wisconsin-Madison, majoring in business.
Elizabeth Jones, charitable, helpful. Lizzie planned to travel to Tanzania, but that was unfortunately canceled due to the pandemic. Lizzie has volunteered at GPA Enrichment, Windrush Farms, and Neighbors in Need for her service component. Her capstone project focused on how the stress of a student with a chronic illness reflects on their quality of education. Next year, Lizzie will be attending Northeastern University to study computer science.
Ishan Desai, he is positive and kind. He has traveled to England, Spain, Greece, Mauritius, Singapore. He did a service at the Sutton Hill Center volunteering. His research topic is the impact of the educational system upon mental health. And next year he will be attending Northeastern University, majoring in chemical and electrical engineering, minoring in business.
Ava Kirkpatrick, cheerful, conscientious. Ava had planned a trip to Hawaii for her travel and service component, but that trip was canceled due to the pandemic. Ava has volunteered and been part of the Portal Leadership Team. Ava's research topic focused on how does business structures and practices affect sustainability within fashion.
Zoe Som, articulate and self-confident. Zoe had planned to travel to France and Spain. For her service, she volunteered at the Cormier Youth Center theater program. Her capstone project asked, what is drama therapy and how is it relevant to the mental health of modern teens? And can drama therapy be used to reduce stress levels for high school students? Next year, Zoe will be attending the University of Toronto and majoring in theater and drama studies.
Madeline Tutwiler, perceptive, empathetic. Madeline planned to travel to Tanzania in 2020. Her local service work was at the Lawrence General Hospital. Madeline's research topic in question is how does access to adequate mental health care impact maternal mortality discrepancies in Black women and non-Hispanic white women in the United States. Next year, Madeline is studying political science, Afro-American studies, and social injustice at Northwestern University.
Erica Flowers is resilient and passionate. She had planned to travel to South Africa, but it was canceled due to the pandemic. Incredibly, she has raised $3,000 for education centers with global immersive virtual internship. Her research topic is the misdiagnosis and late diagnosis of transverse myelitis. And next year, she will be attending the University of South Carolina with a major in nursing.
Jonathan Chang, inquisitive, collaborative. Jonathan traveled to Central Europe. His service component was volunteering at Lawrence General Hospital. Jonathan's capstone research revolves around the causes, effects, and potential solutions to healthcare inequality in the United States. Next year, Jonathan will attend McGill University.
Sarah Halverson is conscientious and good-humored. She's traveled to Egypt, Greece, Portugal, France, and planned to travel to Hawaii but canceled due to the pandemic. She hosted Vietnamese exchange students for her service. Her research topic is on veganism and sustainability. And next year, she will be attending the University of California, Los Angeles, majoring in asocial science.
Anusha Honda, focused, curious. Anusha participated as an exchange buddy for Korean, Vietnamese, and French exchange students. She also participated in a virtual exchange program in Morocco. For her service component, Anusha has volunteered at Project Home Again and Eco Vidyalaya. Anusha's capstone project focuses on how CRISPR can be implemented into cancer treatment and development. Next year, Anusha will be attending the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences to pursue a Doctor of Pharmacy.
Now we have Krishnavani Dole. She is impactful, determined. She planned to travel to Peru, but it was canceled due to the pandemic. She has hosted Vietnamese exchange students for her service. And her research topic is engineered bacteria for ocean PET degradation. And next year, she will be studying chemical engineering at Columbia University.
Haley Katz, open-minded, optimistic. Haley has traveled to Israel. The service that she has completed include volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club and Project Home Again. Haley's research topic focused on how the self-esteem of teenagers is affected by unrealistic advertisements of clothing brands. Next year, Haley will be studying at Lafayette College to study psychology with a minor in aging studies.
McKenna Alardi, industrious, determined. McKenna traveled to St. John in the U.S. Virgin Islands. She participated in the Snow Angels service at the Andover Senior Program for her service component. Her capstone project focused on social media usage and the polarization of climate change. Next year, McKenna will be attending the University of Vermont, majoring in environmental studies.
Cameron Kern, hardworking, gentle. Cameron traveled to Costa Rica where he worked on community development as part of his service requirement. His research topic focused on how we can encourage a more critical reading of the news. Next year, Cameron plans to attend the University of Vermont.
Emily Chen, creative, dedicated. Emily traveled through Eastern Europe. Emily's service component was volunteering at Cor Unum Meal Center. Her capstone research examined the relationship between consumer buying behavior and a business's environmental responsibility. Next year, Emily will attend UCLA and major in business economics.
Jessica Liao, impassioned, motivated. Jessica traveled to China. For the service component, she participated in a leadership camp in China, as well as volunteering at the Chinese school in Andover and with neighbors in need. Her capstone project focused on how the integration of artificial intelligence into the medical field can be made safer, more ethical, and more transparent. Next year, Jessica plans on attending the Georgia Institute of Technology to study computer science.
Kelly Ross, confident, mindful. Kelly planned to travel to Spain for her travel. Locally, she volunteered at Happy Feet at AHS. Her research revolved around how gender discrimination plays a role in education and how this could affect women entering the STEM workforce. Next year, Kelly will be studying biochemistry and Spanish at Fairfield University.
Jenna Freeland is kind, dedicated. She had planned to travel to South Africa but canceled due to the pandemic. Her service was an online leadership academy, GLA. Her research topic is responsible consumption and production on the importance of sustainability in business. And next year, she will be attending Syracuse University majoring in business.
Catherine Song, inventive, kind. Catherine traveled to Costa Rica for her immersive experience, where she helped with a community development project for her service component. Her research project revolved around light pollution, why it matters, and how we can reduce it.
Amira Mazrani, caring, generous. Amira traveled to Lebanon for her immersive experience. She also had plans to travel to Peru, which were canceled due to the pandemic. For the service component, Amira volunteered at the Shatila refugee camp in Lebanon. Her capstone project focused on how we can ensure that refugee girls receive equal and accessible education in the Middle East. Next year, she plans to study pediatric psychiatry at the University of Miami.
Ria Sharma, dedicated, amiable. Ria had planned to travel to Costa Rica or Thailand. For her service, she volunteered at Project Home Again, Camp Invention, and Relay for Life. Her research project asked, how can adolescents consciously make changes to their thoughts, lifestyle, and environment in order to improve their well-being and build resilience to carry into adulthood? Next year, Ria will be studying biochemistry at the University of California, Los Angeles.
Omar El-Bassioni is dependable and globally minded. He's traveled to India. For his service, he volunteered in a rural hospital in India. His research topic is the healthcare systems and the effects due to socioeconomic differences. Next year, he will be attending Boston University majoring in biology.
Annabelle Chan, determined, curious. Annabelle planned to travel to Tanzania in 2020. Annabelle volunteered with UNICEF, Unitas, St. Augustine's Parish, and Bread and Roses. Her research for the capstone project involved period poverty, cultural expectations, neglecting a familiar struggle among marginalized voices. Next year, Annabelle will attend the Northeastern University.
Ashley Veneto, outgoing, warm-hearted. Ashley planned on traveling to Hawaii in 2020 on a service trip. She hosted a Vietnamese exchange student for her local service work. Ashley's research topic question is what long-term benefits could be garnered by sheltering feminine hygiene products from sales tax? Furthermore, how would doing so address gender equity? Next year, Ashley plans to study business management at the University of Miami.
Amanda Morin, passionate, goal-oriented. Amanda had planned to travel to South Africa, but her trip was canceled due to the pandemic. She has volunteered at Lawrence General and the Save Foundation. Her capstone project examined how maternity mortality rates in rural villages in South Africa can be decreased within the next decade. She plans to study medicine, health, and society with a concentration in global health at Vanderbilt University.
Sanji Choi, creative, collaborative. Volunteering at Core Unum was her service component. Her capstone research examined hunger and the need for affordable health care around the world. Next year, Sanji will be attending the University of Virginia with a major in biology.
Colleen Shea. Personable, optimistic. Colleen had planned to go to Costa Rica. For her service, she volunteered at Andona's Clowntown, Happy Feet dance class at AYS, and Jack's Back cornhole tournament. For her research component, she asked, how can the United States implement a more beneficial and efficient education system in prisons? Next year, Colleen will be studying psychology at UMass Amherst.
Emanuela Pitts. Gregarious, ambitious. Emmy traveled to Sicily for her immersive travel experience. For her service component, she hosted a French exchange student. Emmy's capstone project focused on how individuals feel compelled to create connections with their ancestors and what the benefits may be for doing so. She will be studying international policy at George Washington University in the fall.
By Pasha Ray. Creative, pioneering. By Pasha traveled to India, Nepal, and Hawaii for her immersive experience. She volunteered at the Health Heart Initiative, the Hope Heart Foundation, Aware Bear, and Raindrop. Her capstone research asked, what are the causes of healthcare inefficiency from skyrocketing medical costs in the U.S. to lack of primary prevention in developing countries? What are some of the potential solutions to curb these issues? Next year, Bipasha will be studying pre-med at the University of Michigan Honors Program.
Kayla D. Benedetto. She is persevering, compassionate, motivated. She's traveled to Costa Rica. Her service was a Unitas Summer River Cleanup Program. Her research topic is the impacts of the digital divide. And next year she will be attending Brandeis University, majoring in linguistics and neuroscience.
Kathleen Macy, persevering, kind. Kathleen traveled to Fiji for her immersive experience. While in Fiji, she worked on a community development project. Her research topic was on poverty issues in connection with psychology.
Grace Hauser, giving, kind. Grace had planned to attend a trip to Costa Rica, which was canceled due to the pandemic. She has also traveled to London, Paris, and Hawaii. For her service component, Grace has volunteered at the soup kitchen, her church, and at a soccer program for children with special needs. Her capstone project focused on how the stigma surrounding mental health has prevented teens around the world from understanding the benefits of practicing healthy sleep habits. Next year, Grace will be attending Clemson University to study communications or business.
Gabriela Castro Rovira, creative, environmentally passionate. While in Costa Rica, Gabriela worked on the aqueduct project for her service component. The focus of her capstone was how community can increase the effectiveness of conservation projects. Next year, Gabriela will be attending the University of Maine and studying environmental science.
Erin Iran Lee, relational, resilient. Erin traveled to Costa Rica, where she worked on community development for her service component, and she has also traveled to China and has served as a buddy for an exchange student from Korea. Erin's capstone project focused on asking how is the use of marketing strategies altering customers' shopping patterns and influencing their awareness of the current sustainable fashion industry. Next year, Erin will be attending Boston University to study marketing or finance.
Sophia Schweitzer, innovative and globally minded. Sophia had planned to travel to Hawaii. She hosted a French foreign exchange student for her local service. Sophia's research revolved around bike justice and how can we improve the accessibility to living a sustainable life, and what can you do to make sure everyone has access to sustainability.
Noah Margolin, driven, service-minded. Noah has traveled around the world, including Eastern and Western Europe, Puerto Rico, and the Middle East. As part of her immersive service, she volunteered with Boston Cleanup, Andover Cleanup, and Cor Unum. Her capstone project examined the United States as a chronically diseased nation, despite having one of the most developed healthcare systems. Noah plans on studying biomedical engineering with a concentration in technological innovation at Boston University.
Lauren Sorabella. Charismatic, thoughtful. Lauren planned to travel to Switzerland. She volunteered at her local church and community giving tree for her service. Her research revolved around a look into fast fashion, the secrets behind your shopping cart. Next year, Lauren will be attending Syracuse University's Newhouse School of Public Communications to study news and digital journalism.
Eliza Marcy, creative, amiable. Eliza traveled to Germany, Poland, the Czech Republic, and Hungary. Her service work included hosting exchange students from Vietnam and France. Eliza's capstone project examined sustainable housing for first-time homeowners in the United States. Next year, Eliza will be studying industrial and systems engineering at the University of Pittsburgh.
Madison Tjelma, tenacious, driven. Maddie planned to travel to the Hawaii service trip with our Global Pathways program in 2020. Her global service was at the Lazarus House. Her research topic in question is how does socioeconomics affect the way that communities address issues surrounding climate change? Next year, Maddie is studying political science at the University of Wisconsin, Madison.